Hello, you are tuned in to WRUW-FM 91.1 Cleveland. You're listening to A Different Drum, where the more you love music, the more music you love. I am your host, Matt Hook. Today I'm joined by one of my favorite artists, Cuban singer Daymé Arocena. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Hello, guys. Thank you so much for this interview. We need always supporters. We need people to support our music. So thank you.
Her latest album, Cubafonia, was released last March and illustrates her fantastic songwriting, incredible voice, her unique blend of Afro-Cuban jazz, other Latin styles, and neo-soul, and some pop elements as well. Really, I think one of the best albums of last year. Now, to introduce you to her music, here is Lo Que Fue.
Nunca fue lo que fue, corazón, todo fue lo que tú me dejaste. Cada beso en ti emana dolor, el dolor que en mi pecho grabaste. Pero al fin se acabó, tu recuerdo murió y la tristeza desapareció. Dale, ahora ya es muy tarde. Dale, yo sé que te entregaste. Mientes y me reprochas que me fui. Y el amor nunca fue lo que fue, corazón, todo fue lo que tú me dejaste. Cada beso en ti emana dolor, el dolor que en mi pecho grabaste. Pero al fin se acabó, tu recuerdo murió y la tristeza desapareció. Dale, ahora ya es muy tarde. Dale, yo sé que si me reprochas que me fui y el amor que te di. Pero al fin se acabó, tu recuerdo murió y la tristeza desapareció. Qué risa me da, qué risa me da, qué risa me da, qué risa. Qué risa me da, qué risa tú me das, qué risa me da. Si nunca fue lo que fue, cámara, ay, tú me pagas con mentira y dolor. Qué risa y yo te entrego el cariño de mi corazón. Qué risa, ay, no me engañes más. Qué risa y no me compres más. Qué risa, ni chocolate, ni caramelo, ni flores. No esperes que te perdone. Qué risa me da. El amor que te di.
That song we just heard was Lo Que Fue by Daymé Arocena, currently joined by Daymé herself. Would you mind talking a little bit about that track?
Yeah, I mean, first I have to say that Cubafonia is an album that I made to show a little bit out of Cuba the rhythms that we have there. Like basically, all of those songs are inspired by authentic Cuban rhythms. In in this case, that is Lo que fue, this song is a bolero moluno, that is the bolero with Spanish influences in the harmony, and then uh, at the end is a cha cha cha. That is a Cuban creation. The creator of cha 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 was called Enrique Jorrin, and a lot of people don't know about that. Actually, cha 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 is a Cuban rhythm. So for me, this is my way to split a little bit the tradition of Cuban music through sorry through uh, contemporary stuff, because basically a lot of people know about traditional Cuban music, but sometimes they don't really know about the new generation of people playing in Cuba, the new players or the new people that can basically make music. And yeah, Lo que fue is one of those songs that I felt was really good for this project.
Yeah, it definitely does have those modern elements to it, especially just the bass playing on that track always really
Yeah,
stuck out to
yeah,
me.
and the way of the drumming is mixed. So basically, is cha cha cha, but is not made with timbal. It's made with a drum set, so kit drums and all of that. So basically, the sound is different, and the structure is different too. So there is like a lot of stuff that is basically like pretty new style, but the rhythm is there. The cha 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 rhythm is there.
You're definitely also right about how, especially in the U.S., kind of people don't really know a lot about the modern Cuban music. What?
No, sadly, that's why we're working hard to develop this generation of Cuban musicians out of the borders. We really need people in the world to discover the treasure of us.
Why do you think there is that disconnect?
Because after the Cuban Revolution, uh, Cuba and the United States, who is for me like the the biggest musical markets, we we broke the relationship. So without the big musical industries and without the record labels, international record labels going to Cuba to sign with Cuban musicians, so people started like losing the contact with us. So that is why this is what I think. We basically there is a big gap of like 60 years of music that people don't really know.
Yeah, it's a shame because there's just so much history and beauty inside Cuban music.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure about it, and of course it's a shame. Um, Thank God, I think there is still some people in the world that are interested in discovering Cuba, and now that basically Americans can travel to Cuba, that's actually better. So hopefully, in a few years, we will definitely fix that problem.
So I'm wondering what originally drew you to jazz music? Because I know you're also classically trained.
Yeah, that's what I studied. I'm a classical musician. I'm actually a choir conductor. Uh, I I I didn't choose jazz uh, like in the proper way because I didn't know even what it was. But in my school, in my conservatory, they had a big band, and they were looking for a singer. So they asked me to join them in this project, and I started singing jazz without the knowledge about it. I didn't know that I was actually singing jazz. And when I realized what I was doing, I was already in. I was in love with the project. I was in love with the big band and with the music that we were playing. So I said to myself, you know what, this is what I want to do. So thanks God we had that big band at the school. Otherwise, I was being like conducting a choir, singing Bach or Mozart.
I was also wondering, so you sing in multiple languages. I know you have songs in English, Spanish, French, Yoruba. How come?
Yeah, but I don't speak any of those. I don't speak French at all, and I don't speak Yoruba. Actually, I wrote songs in Portuguese too, and I don't speak Portuguese because sometimes the music. I'm a musical person, so normally I get the music first, and the lyrics come later. And sometimes when I'm writing the music, I scat the melody. So that scat tells me which language should be writing the song, and then I get people to help me. No, normally I go to find out in Google like ideas to try to translate them in French or in Portuguese, and then I get people to help me to see if I did it right or not. But I don't speak French or Portuguese or Yoruba at all.
Wow, so you just like the sound of the language and then use that for the song.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So what singers influenced your vocal style?
Um, uh, Especially Nina Simone, who is my queen, my favorite singer ever, and La Lupe, who was a beautiful Cuban jazz singer that came to the United States in the 60s, and she was like a queen of Latin jazz before even uh, Celia Cruz. She was she was the queen of Latin jazz, but then she had a health problems and she passed away. That is why when when the Fania came out, they put more into Celia Cruz, and then later they made this rhythm called salsa, what is not Cuban, I have to say, and yeah, so that's why people know Celia Cruz as the main salsa queen, but who was like the for me the queen of Latin jazz was La Lupe, who is one of my biggest influences.
I definitely have to check out her music more. I mean, Nina Simone,
Yes,
of course, is just phenomenal, and also as a songwriter.
yes.
You just does she influence you as a songwriter as well, or just purely as a singer?
Yes, yes. Yeah, of course. When I discovered Nina Simone, I didn't really know a lot of English, but definitely she was a bridge for me to get more interested about it. Yeah.
So I know your religious belief, Santeria, has a big impact on your music and your stage presence. Would you mind talking about that a little bit?
Yeah, Santeria is for me the Cuban religion because it's what represents us as a culture. It's not Yoruba or Catholicism. is the mixing of a few things of those religions like Catholicism, Yoruba, Jewish, Asian stuff, from Buddhism and all of that. But it's like Cuba. When you go to Cuba, we don't recognize each other as black or white or yellow. We are all Cubans because we are all mixed race. So Santeria is mixed race too, and that is really special for me, especially because musically there is a lot of elements that definitely catch me up when I was a teenager trying to write music. So I have to say that I fell in love with Santeria music before to become a practitioner. So it took me a few years to decide to practice because I was stuck in the idea of music that basically it gave me a lot of elements to to develop as a songwriter and as a composer because I compose actually for some other instruments, not just for voice. I compose actually for uh, cellos, quartets, and that type of stuff. So there is a lot of rhythms and melodies that you can take from Santeria and then uh, re make like a different stuff with that. So of course it made like a big impact in in my songwriting when I discovered when I was 17, and now it's with me for forever. I won't take away that tool that is basically my own religion.
And what is the role of music in the Santeria? Is it similar to how music is used in like a Catholic mass, for example? Or is it
Yeah, of course. Music, arts, anything like uh, that could connect. Music is like religion. It it makes an effect in us that we cannot touch, we cannot taste, we cannot uh, see. It's just inside our body, inside our brain is energy. So it's the same with religion. That is why music is totally connected with religion at all. All my music is not religious stuff, but but in Santeria case, music is definitely the bridge in between humans that are still in the earth with humans that are spirits already.
I was also wondering, as far as your songwriting goes, you said you start off with the music most of the time. When you're writing lyrics, is there any sort of process to that, or do you just try to let it flow naturally?
Lyrics is the hardest one for me. I have to say, it takes me really long to be happy with lyrics because sometimes I feel music express a lot, and sometimes I don't find words to express what I want to say musically. But I don't push myself to write lyrics. There is songs of mine that are already out that I didn't write any lyrics for it, so I just scat on those ones. I don't push myself to make something that actually I don't feel. Lyrics, they come when they wanna come. Sometimes I have a song ready for lyrics and it has to wait ages to be finished because if I don't find the right lyrics at the moment I make the song, then I just leave it and I wait for the right moment.
Were there any songs on Cubafonia where you had the song written like a couple years ago, but it wasn't until recently that you got the
Yeah,
lyrics?
actually, Lo que fue is one of those ones. I wrote Lo que fue when I was, I think I was like 19 years old when I wrote that song ages ago. Now I'm 26, so it had to wait a lot. And I definitely have older songs than Lo que fue that are still waiting.
Some more songs that might pop up on your next record with lyrics that's just been lying in wait?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, why not? Could be.
Do you have any plans for any future albums coming up?
Yeah, we are wondering to record a new album this year. It should come up next year, 2019.
Anything you can tell us about that album as far as the sound or the concept behind it?
Yeah, as every single album that I would like to do is just my songwriting, so it's the music I write. In this case, I'm focusing the contemporary sounds of Cuba more far than or typical rhythms or this album is gonna be more like my soul into the recording. I don't wanna make an album that is actually not who I am. So I don't know if that makes sense for you, but basically the album I want to do is like how I feel the music, how it goes into my mind. So maybe I'm not gonna hire a producer or people to to help me to do anything. I want to make an album chill, like in the way I feel the music. I want to see the reaction of people about this album. Like maybe I will get just like a drums player and a piano player and then a bass player. Like keep it simple and go ahead.
Like a simple, small kind of trio format instead of the more
Yeah, exactly.
orchestrated
Yeah.
sounds on Cubafonia.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I guess that'd be closer to what your live show is, because I know at least on your last tour, it was just you, a bassist, a drummer, and a piano player.
Yeah, I have to travel with that small format because it's really hard to travel from Cuba because all the visa problems we have. Basically, as Cubans, we have to request visa for every single country, and it makes really difficult everything. So, yeah, Cubafonia is an album that I made for a bigger band, and sadly, I didn't get the chance to bring this band on tour. So we have done a few concerts in Cuba with this bigger format, but sadly, we didn't get the chance to bring it out of Cuba.
That's a shame. But granted, your small
Yes.
combo sound is incredible as it is. You guys definitely
Thank
have
you.
a very great... Because I saw you last year when you played in Bethesda, Maryland, and you
Oh
guys had a
yeah,
great sound.
I think actually this is one of the inspirations for this next album. That what I mean, all the things we can do just as a quartet, you know, uh, because I have been playing with these guys for a long time, and they are like my family too. So it's a nice way actually to show my respect
How did you
of what they do. Yeah,
How did you bring that band together?
we are studied together at the conservatory. So yeah, we are all classical trained, all of us.
How does your classical training impact your composition when you're writing a jazz song? Like, Lo Que Fue, or even a more pop song like Como.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't trained as a jazz player at all, but the professor I had for composition, that is one of the greatest composers and professors in Cuba. He All he gave me was freedom to compose. So every single time I brought music into my class, he never was like upset because the song could sound quite pop or quite jazzy. He was actually a great supporter of what I was doing, and now that I'm not in the school anymore. When I make concerts in Cuba, he goes to see my concerts, so that makes me really happy, because he makes me feel that he is proud of what I'm doing now.
Oh, wow. That's great. So it's just so
Yeah.
heartwarming. So I was wondering, how did you get involved with Brownswood's recordings?
Oh, Brownswood. We met in Havana, Cuba. They were involved in a project with Havana Cultura, what is a platform of cultural uh, projects in Cuba, uh, and they are from the brand Havana Club, the rum we have there, the rum of Cuba. Um, they were looking for singers to join them in a DJ project. So they made an open mic to find people for this album, and I got into the, how can I say, like, into the competition, and they picked me to sing 4 songs, and then they realized that actually I was a songwriter. So when I was in London for the launch party of the album, they asked me if I wanted to make an EP with them, uh, to record a few tracks, and and it was really excited for me. So I went next day to the studio, and I started recording my songs with the piano, and then they got so impressed about my songwriting. They asked me if I had enough songs to actually make a proper album, like the whole thing. And we did it. So it wasn't like something that we prepared in advance. That was my first album, Nueva Era. They just hired at that time musicians from London to record my ideas. And yeah, Nueva Era was the first step of my international career. Thanks thanks to Brownswood and to Havana Cultura, that we got success with that album, because after that we made like a record deal, for 5 years, and so now I got the chance to travel over the seas around the world, and and bring my music everywhere.
So I'm curious, on this latest tour, is it just a U.S. tour, or are you going internationally?
Um, this specific tour is U.S., but we just arrived like 2 weeks ago from uh, Australia and New Zealand. And after this tour, we are going to Europe. And after the European tour, we are going to make another tour in South America. So if I look at the big picture, it's like a worldwide tour. But if we talk about this specific month, so yeah, in this month we will be just here in the United States.
That's an incredibly grueling tour schedule. How do you keep your energy up just night after night doing that?
Sleeping. Yeah, I sleep as much as I can, and when I am back in Cuba, I have sex as much as I can. Yeah.
Sounds like a good recipe for
Yeah,
regaining your
yeah,
energy
yeah.
back.
Exercise and energy, keeping clean, everything. I don't drink alcohol or coffee or I don't do any drugs. I try to stay healthy. I eat a lot of desserts. I like sweetness. That's bad, but that's not that bad. So yeah, I don't do cigarettes or cigars, anything like so.
Yeah. Don't beat yourself up about the sweets. Everyone has to have a little bit of a vice, right?
Yeah, I think I don't have a little bit. I think I have a lot, but I have to do something bad in this life.
Life's no fun if you just follow the rules all the time. So,
Yeah, of course.
I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about that album One Takes that you released with Giles Peterson, I think 2 years ago.
That was a craziness that we made in Havana. We were filming a documentary about rumba, and we got some free time at the studio with the musicians. So we started trying songs that Giles like or I like it. Like, oh, let's try this song. Let's try this other song. Let's try. And at one point, we had recorded like 7 or 8 songs, and we thought that it was just amazing because we just did it like pretty chill. That's why the name of the song, the name of the album is One Takes, because we recorded everything just one time. So at one point, Giles asked me, "Do you wanna release this?" And I was a bit afraid about it because I didn't. I mean, we didn't do it in the proper way. It was just something relaxed, but at the end I said, yeah, I'm just gonna like make some backing vocals, and I'm gonna leave it as it is. And at the end, we made this album. People got excited about it.
It's a great album, especially just because it's a lot of very almost kind of club type tracks on it too. Just
Yeah,
the backing tracks that got, and it was just Giles as a DJ playing backing tracks, right? I just don't think it was a band.
yeah. I mean, it was just suggestions of Giles about music that he really likes to play in his DJ sessions, and there is a few of them that I really like it, like for example, African Sunshine or God of Yoruba or Stock. I
Stu-
mean, when I heard those songs, I was like, oh wow, I actually like it. So, but as I told you, it was pretty chill, relaxed, nothing organized.
yeah, it was just a relaxed session between you and Giles, just kind of going off one another. Yeah, stuck
Yeah,
is.
we have a lot of fun together. He's like my godfather.
Stuck especially, that one's a really fun track. There's just so much energy with it, I have to
Yeah,
say.
it's a lot of energy for sure.
I noticed you released several club remixes of your music done by a couple DJs. Why did you decide to release those?
That is all Giles' ideas. Like when he likes a song of mine, he asks his friends or sometimes people that like my music decide to make remixes, and they contact Giles and they release it in his record label. I'm pretty open minded about this type of stuff, so I like a lot to see my music in other ways actually. One day I will like to do more songwriting, I mean more composition than touring. I would like maybe to make music for cinema or that type of stuff, and I will definitely love to give some songs that I have done to some other singers to see what they can do with that.
Are there any singers out there you would especially love to write for?
I would like to give especially a song of mine to Kendrick Lamar because I really like him. um, there is another rapper, Latin rapper called Residente. He he had a band called Calle 13
Oh, yeah,
that
I know Guy Thirst.
I have another song that I would love to give to him. And there is like another type of songs that I would like to give to young Cuban guys. Yeah.
I'm surprised you picked two rappers for that one. Are
I
you a
love
big
hip
hip hop
hop.
fan?
I love hip hop. Yeah. I I feel a lot of power and energy in that type of music. But yeah, of course, I love great singers. But maybe I respect them a lot as a singer. So I don't know if my songs could work good with them. I don't know. Yeah. These two rappers I'm talking about, they are so musical. This type of people that they don't make just a beat. They basically they make music. So that is why I feel fascinated of these guys because they are like urban poets. You know what I
Oh, yeah.
mean?
Especially Kendrick too. He'll bring in so many jazz elements to his
Yeah,
music.
Kendrick is pure blackness and beauty and jazz stuff. And Calle 13, these guys are more like Latin power and all the rhythms and the culture we have in Latin um, America. So yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully we can see a Daymé Arocena song featuring Kendrick Lamar at some point in the near future. That would be
Yeah, I
incredible.
would love to. I mean, it could be a dream for me.
All right, so thank you so much for talking with me. It was great having you. Anything else you'd like to say to our listeners?
I just want to say that please open your ears for young generation of Cuban musicians. We need you guys, and thank you for these radio stations, these magazines, these TV shows that are supporting me. I'm just one little person in a country that has 11 millions of persons and 12 millions of musicians.
All right, thank you so much, Daime. It was great having you. You can find her latest record, Cubafonia,
Thank you so much.
on Amazon, iTunes, all major online streaming sites, as well as her Bandcamp. If you go on her Bandcamp, you'll also find some of those club remixes that we were talking about as well.
Yes.
Again, thank you so much, Daime. It was great having
Thank
you. I
you,
hope to have
guys.
you on again soon. And yeah, stay tuned for more music.